It started with one headline, then another. Soon the courtroom was surrounded by whispers of celebrities, shocking allegations, and old stories pulled back into the light. The trial of Sean Diddy Combs became more than a federal case. It grew into a cultural shockwave that captured the entertainment industry and the public all at once. As prosecutors laid out their evidence, famous names began to surface. Some walked into the courtroom as witnesses. Others appeared in documents, statements, or past events connected to the investigation. Today, we uncover which stars became part of this expanding courtroom web, how they were involved, and what their presence meant in one of the most talked about trials in recent memory. First, we begin with Kid Cudi, who delivered some of the most striking testimony of the trial. Before the proceedings, public speculation often questioned the story of his destroyed Porsche. In court, Cudi confirmed that in 2011 his car had been blown up outside his home. He testified that Cassie Ventura told him about the fire, and jurors heard him relay his stunned reaction. His appearance helped outline what prosecutors described as patterns of intimidation that surrounded several relationships. Next, we turn to the witness whose account formed the emotional core of the case, Cassie Ventura, singer and former longtime partner of Combs, took the stand for multiple days. She described alleged abuse, manipulation, and hotel incidents that prosecutors said supported federal trafficking charges. Her testimony included references to videos, messages, and witnesses who had seen her with injuries. Cassie's experience shaped much of the trial's narrative, providing first-hand accounts that framed the timeline investigators presented moving on. Several major entertainers did not testify but were mentioned during either questioning or document review, showing how far the case reached. Nas and Kelis surfaced during testimony from Combs' former executive assistant. While the two artists were not accused of wrongdoing, their names were used when discussing the industry environment surrounding Cassie's music efforts. Their inclusion illustrated how wide the entertainment circles connected to the case were, even when the names were mentioned only for context. Following them, the next figure came up during jury selection and in prosecutors' background material. Michael B. Jordan never appeared in court, but his name was referenced as jurors were screened. The court asked potential jurors whether they recognized him, since his name appeared in documents connected to Cassie's earlier civil claims. Her statements referenced a period when she and Jordan had a friendly relationship that allegedly caused tension with Combs. Jordan was not part of the allegations, but his mention showed how personal relationships and celebrity dynamics were woven into the case file. Next, two legendary singers were mentioned in testimony to illustrate how music careers were being compared and discussed. Whitney Houston and Mariah Carey were mentioned by the same former assistant who described Cassie's recording sessions. Their names were cited as examples of major studio artists at the top of their craft. The comparison was made to explain expectations set by producers and the way Cassie's career was shaped behind the scenes. Neither artist had involvement in the allegations, but their mention demonstrated how high-profile the industry references became during questioning. Moving on, the jury selection process itself provided another layer of celebrity presence. During jury selection, attorneys presented a long list of names they expected might come up during trial. These included artists such as Kanye West, Rick Ross, and others who had crossed paths with either Combs or Cassie throughout their careers. Most of these figures did not testify, but their inclusion prepared jurors for the breadth of the case. Following this, the prosecution introduced several witnesses from inside the entertainment and hospitality circles. Among the most significant witnesses were former assistants, escorts, and hotel staff. One hotel security guard, Israel Flores, testified about seeing an elevator incident involving Combs and Cassie in 2016. Another witness, Daniel Phillip, described a moment when he saw Combs throw a bottle and drag Cassie during an altercation. These testimonies provided physical details that supported earlier claims. Next, a few more music figures were named during testimony about recording sessions and creative work. French Montana, Meek Mill, and Rick Ross were mentioned by a former stylist who had worked around Cassie. Their names appeared only in reference to sessions, meetings, or interactions within normal industry workflow. None of the three artists were accused of wrongdoing, and none took the stand. Their presence and testimony highlighted how interconnected the hip-hop world is, and how difficult it can be to separate personal relationships from professional ones in a courtroom setting. Moving forward, we look at how these names shaped public attention around the case. As each celebrity name surfaced, media interest surged. The trial's coverage expanded from legal reporting to cultural analysis. Commentators examined the overlapping history between artists, managers, and creative teams from the early 2000s through the mid-2000s. The celebrity web fostered intense discussion online, and fans of each artist reacted differently to every reference. Yet, through all the noise, the court maintained focus on testimony, evidence, and the key witnesses central to the allegations. Next, we reflect on what this collective involvement revealed about the entertainment world. The case showed how deeply musicians and actors can become tied to each other through tours, labels, friendships, and rivalries. Even when most of the stars mentioned had no legal involvement, their names served as markers on a map of relationships spanning decades. Investigators sifted through years of industry connections, locating moments that supported a broader picture of control, influence, and intimidation. Following this understanding, the impact on Hollywood and the music world became difficult to ignore. The trial forced fans, creators, and performers to confront long-standing questions about power in entertainment. It highlighted the way fame can shield harmful behavior, how silence can stretch across years, and how intertwined personal lives and professional networks can be. Every celebrity mentioned, from Kid Cudi to Michael B. Jordan, reminded viewers that influence carries weight, and relationships in entertainment rarely exist in isolation. Next, we close with the lasting significance of these testimonies. The Diddy trial became a mosaic of celebrity presence, witness accounts, and decades of industry history. Kid Cudi offered startling testimony. Cassie delivered the most personal and emotional narrative. Other stars were referenced in passing, painting a picture of an industry filled with powerful relationships. Most of the celebrities mentioned were never accused of wrongdoing, yet their presence and testimony emphasized the far-reaching world surrounding Combs. The trial proved that behind glamour and fame, there can be shadows that linger for years, waiting for truth, courage, and accountability to bring them into the open. If you found this look into the celebrity web surrounding the Diddy trial insightful, share it with others, subscribe for more true story deep dives. And remember that even the biggest headlines often hide a deeper and more complicated truth.